Hey there, welcome to the DFS Build NBA edition. Kind of. It's a showdown game here with the Hornets and the Lakers taking on each other. Could be ugly, could be horrible, but you know what? NBA is back, baby. It's actually really back tomorrow with a 9-game slate, but we're still going to do a breakdown for you, help you win some cash if you do end up playing tonight's slate at DraftKings. If anything we do here helps you out, please give this video a like and also subscribe to the channel. And if you want a little bit extra advice, you can come visit us in our Discord. That is also free. We do offer FanDuel picks, MMA DFS picks, and night slate DraftKings picks when we have full slates. Not really the case today, but if you want to hit that up, you can check out our Patreon as well. All right, let's get into it here. We have the Hornets at LA. The Lakers are 12-point favorites with the game, and the game has a 228 total. So if Charlotte can keep it close, it's kind of an inviting game and a fun one to have for a showdown slate. It's not like the Lakers are defensive stalwarts. They're not really a team to be feared. And we know Charlotte is really bad also. So there's a couple narratives here, Taylor, before we get into it. Number one, LeBron is questionable. So we don't really know his status yet, but he sat out All-Star break, and he's, I think he missed one of their games before that happened. But either way, he's had a lot of time to rest, so I wouldn't be that shocked if he does end up playing. However, this is the first leg of a back-to-back set. They do play tomorrow, so we could be looking at a situation where, maybe LeBron does not play. Also, LaMelo is back for the Hornets, and Mark Williams will be making his return for Charlotte as well. And he's facing the Lakers, obviously, for the first time since he had his trade rescinded. So before we dive in, why don't you give your thoughts on LeBron's potential absence and then also the possible limitation of LaMelo and Mark Williams?
Yeah, I mean, if LeBron's out, that obviously changes a lot. As things stand, it's kind of hard to differentiate LeBron from Luka. Like, Luka is historically the better per minute guy, but he's only played 2 games for the Lakers. He's been limited in both. They say he's not limited anymore. That's what Reddick said last night. He's not expected to have a limit moving forward. So if Luka is completely unleashed from a minute standpoint, then I assume he's going to be the most popular captain and the most popular player on the slate, of course. Certainly not a bad play in the captain, but he would look a lot better if LeBron is out. If LeBron is in, I don't mind kind of mixing and matching with the captain, maybe using some minutes instead. I just assume the Lakers studs are going to be chalk captains and maybe LaMelo up there as well. But if LeBron's out, it's going to make you feel a lot better about Austin Reeves, the secondary shooters like Rui, people like that. Dalton Connect, I guess. But if he's in, it kind of just makes things a little bit more muddy. Like, it's very tough to project the Lakers with Luka, considering he's only played 2 limited games. So tough to know what to expect there. It's also tough to know what to expect from a minute standpoint for LaMelo, because he did miss time before the All-Star break. He played 9 minutes in 1 game against the Lakers, got hurt in that game, came back like 10 days later, played 36 minutes in his first game back. It might have been an overtime game. And then the game after that, he left. I think he sat a game, and then the game after that, he returned and then played 10 minutes and left again.
Yep.
And ankle injuries for him they've been a theme of his entire career. So he's dealing with that again. Since he's in, I think it's fair to assume he'll be somewhat limited. I'd be surprised if he just suddenly played 36 in light of the injuries he's dealing with. Plus, I'm assuming they just want to tank. So running him out there full minutes in a game like this, not really making a lot of sense as far as their long-term goals go. And as a result, I'm really not getting too much LaMelo in the captain. I'll still play him in util. Of course, he's a great per minute guy. Even in 30 minutes or so, he can smash the slate. So not someone I'll be fading fully. But as far as captain goes, I'm not really into LaMelo tonight.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I mean, like, historically, they have not taken it that easy on him, but you would think a smart organization that is obviously tanking would maybe say, hey, you know what? Last time we ran him out 36 minutes, the very next game. What?
A smart organization, not the Hornets necessarily.
Well, I know. Okay. You would think an organization of any kind in the NBA would possibly learn from their mistake here. I mean, he played 9 minutes, got hurt, 36 minutes the first game back, then the next game, 10 minutes, hurt again. Like, that is, the math is not mathing as far as like not limiting a guy with an ankle history. So I agree with everything you said. I do think it's a little bit interesting in tournaments, though, especially in captain, if the ownership ends up tipping towards LeBron, Reeves, Luka, and LaMelo gets like completely overlooked here when you're looking at like up top, then LaMelo becomes really interesting if people are going to be worried about a limit or just, favoring the Lakers stars in general. So I think that is a spot where we can take advantage of an ownership dip. Right now, though, it is spread out 19% across the top 3 plays. I mean, I would just be getting to a little bit of all of them, but I do agree with you right now as it stands. I think I would prefer Luka and LeBron. And of all those top guys, I prefer Luka. Now that he doesn't have a minutes limit and like with LaMelo possibly limited and LeBron like not 100%, I just feel like everything it's teeing up for Luka to just truly have an explosion game for the first time with the Lakers. Worth noting, last time he faced the Hornets, he had a 39-point triple-double. So we know Luka can get there. He has not really looked great so far with the Lakers. He's flashed his ability, but I think the fact that now he's fully unleashed, we can have a little bit more confidence in him for sure. So if LeBron is out, obviously Luka looks amazing, and Austin Reeves would be more palatable in the captain spot. I mean, obviously everybody would go to Luka in the captain. So if you're running a lot of lineups, I would be a little bit overweight on Austin Reeves there compared to the field. But then we need to start looking at other Lakers guys in captain. So who do you look at first if LeBron is out?
I think, obviously it's LeBron and then it's Luka and then it's Reeves. But
Right.
other than
100%.
that, among the secondary ones, I think Jackson Hayes would probably be my first stop, regardless of LeBron news. Starting at center anyway. They don't really they have Alex Len and stuff who they don't really want to play. I assume not very good. Charlotte obviously has size with Mark Williams in there, Laker legend Mark Williams. So Jackson Hayes, 9K flat in the captain spot. Kind of opens things up if you play him there. He didn't play a ton in the last game. Not quite sure what happened there. He played 7 minutes in a blowout loss to Utah.
I think he got hurt.
Oh, he did?
I think so. Then we got 22 minutes of Alex Len.
He's been playing 20 plus since AD got traded, essentially. So, and AD was hurt before the deadline, and Hayes was starting anyway. So he's been decent in that role. Having Luka and LeBron essentially frees him up just to catch lobs and get rebounds, block shots, things like that. So even if LeBron is in, I'm pretty happy with Jackson Hayes as a contrarian center play. I think that's pretty sharp on this slate.
100%. I think it's even more so, like you just said, more compelling if LeBron is in, because then you have a lot of extra ownership being soaked up from LeBron and just means less ownership for Hayes. So I think he's really interesting in the captain. Good flex play too, obviously. But whether LeBron is in or out, I'm definitely going to be overweight on Hayes, who's carrying no ownership because all the ownership is going to Luka, LeBron, LaMelo, and Austin Reeves. Correct. That makes sense. But we have to look for an edge in showdown slates, and I think Hayes is the quickest way to get that. Mark Williams is not a good defender. Hayes is going to be necessary to be on the floor to stop Mark Hayes offensively, or Mark Williams offensively. Mark Hayes, that's a new creative player. So he looks really good. I don't mind really Hachimura at 10.5K, depending on where the ownership goes. Right now, neither of them are getting ownership. If LeBron is out, we know Rui benefits greatly from that. So he is captain worthy for sure. And I'd be a little bit overweight on him in the flex too. The only other guy I'd look at really, you can look at Dorian Finney-Smith. You can look at some of these other fringe bench guys for the Lakers. I think the only other guy that would really benefit if LeBron ends up sitting is Dalton Connect. Obviously, he only played 16 minutes in his first game back after that rescinded trade, but we know he can get hot as a shooter, and he's really, really cheap. So unlike Rui or Hayes, who are probably, definitely a lot safer, Connect does have a little bit of a ceiling if he can hit his shots, and he's super, super cheap. So you can play him and still go get Luka and LaMelo and Mark Williams, whoever else you want to get. So I think he's really interesting in tournaments. The only problem is I think all these guys are going to get a bit of steam here if LeBron does get ruled out. So are you in agreement there, or are there any other guys like Vandy or anybody else that you like for the LA side?
It's hard to love the secondary Lakers beyond those four that we mentioned, the big three and then Hayes, just because there's not a ton of usage to go around if LeBron is in.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's played a limited role since the trade, essentially. Guys like Shake Milton and Jordan Goodwin and Finney Smith just don't really play enough. I guess Markieff Morris, 1K flat. You can try to fire him up, I guess. No idea if he'll be in the rotation. He's played under 10 minutes in back-to-back games. But the secondary Lakers are kind of just dart throws. I don't think guys like Goodwin or Connect are super amazing plays if LeBron is in. That'll change if he's out. Projections will increase for everybody.
No, I agree. I think I would not really want to captain those guys. Like, I think if LeBron is in, you still can play Rui and Hayes in the captain. And I think if he's in, then their ownership is going to be non-existent in the captain, because you have 4 guys that everybody's going to want to play in the captain, and they are not two. They are not one of them. But yeah, I agree. Connect is mostly he's a dart throw anyways, but he's only really appealing in the captain if LeBron is out. All right, let's kick it over to the Charlotte side. Obviously, LaMelo is the top guy here. Like I said, I'd be a little bit overweight if the ownership is going all towards Luka and LeBron. But we'll just see what happens. If LeBron is out, obviously LaMelo is going to carry plenty of ownership, and then you're not really going to get much of an edge there. And if that is the case, I don't really mind just eating the $1,000 extra and playing Luka. He just feels like the safer play. And to be clear, in the majority of my lineups, I'm going to play one of the studs and try to finagle, a good lineup with the value there. And Luka is my preferred stud here. That's not really much of a flag plant, but that should still be said, I guess. All right, for the Charlotte side, what are your thoughts here on Miles Bridges and Mark Williams? They're the next 2 guys behind LaMelo.
Yeah, those are the 2 captains I have the most interest in overall, ahead of the Lakers stuff, pending LeBron news, of course. But Bridges just plays huge minutes every night. The usage is there with or without LaMelo. He's a bit cheaper than LeBron and Luka and LaMelo. So I like the discount on him. It kind of makes the build a little more palatable overall with Miles Bridges in the captain. Ditto for Williams. Having a monster season. I don't know what the minutes will be like after this little layoff. He hasn't played since February 5th. So kind of tough to know. I assume he'll be playing around 30 minutes, but there's a lot of volatility there just because his role was kind of volatile earlier in the season. He was playing full minutes before the trade, though. So ceiling is there for him. Maybe motivation will be on his side against the Lakers team that rejected his physical there. So Matt's good against it too. Lakers really only without AD. So great spot for Williams. I think this is a matchup we can take advantage of moving forward. Bigs against LA. So Williams and Bridges are awesome plays, and I think they're my 2 favorite captains overall. I'll be well over the field on both of them.
Yeah, I don't mind Bridges. Only $300 more. Ownership's going to be kind of the same. I think Williams is the play here, though, especially if people are feared of him being limited. We know he's a massive point per minute guy. Lakers are not a tough matchup here, and he's going to be motivated. Whether or not that narrative actually plays out and like he crushes just because of that, I don't know. But he's going to be motivated. He was almost traded, So, and the fact that he gets to face the team that denied the trade, I mean, obviously he's going to get up to play here. So I think if he can push for 30 minutes, he is definitely going to hit 12.9K. A little bit too cheap. Like, if we're not worrying about minutes, he's definitely too cheap for who he had been. Like, look at that game log I just showed you guys. Like, this is insane. Dude has been absolutely feasting. There's nothing about the matchup to scare you off of Mark Williams. And if he's going to be 5% on the captain, I'm going to just hammer over that for sure. Like I said before, Luka is my favorite play up top, but Mark Williams is my favorite tourney play here in the captain slot. It just looks like an awesome play. Going down here, Nick Smith Jr. is still going to get minutes. Brandon Miller remains out, obviously. So you're kind of looking at him and Josh Green, who are getting minutes on the wing with LaMelo. I do have a little bit of interest in Nick Smith Jr. in the captain. Risky play for sure. Prefer him in the flex, but I think if he can be out there and actually hit some shots at 6.3K, not only does he have the ability to get there, he also saves you money and lets you load up in the flex spot. So any interest in NSJ, or I know you don't want Josh Green, and neither do I, but I think what's your interest in NSJ?
Yeah, he's a secondary tournament captain. I don't have an issue with it. He's had a pretty wide range of outcomes. He's kind of scoring dependent, so if the shots aren't falling, he's not really going to get you anything. But Josh Green isn't going to get you anything anyway, so I much prefer Smith between the 2. Josh Green is really someone I never play. I'll probably play a little bit of him in util just because it's a showdown slate, and you never know. And he has a role on the team, but not my favorite play. I think beyond those 2 captains, Bridges and Williams, my favorite Hornet overall in terms of a play would be Tijan Salon in util, just because he's 2.4K. He's got a roll off the bench. Not a good player, not a good per minute guy either, but there really aren't that many punts in that range. Like, he's cheaper than guys like Jordan Goodwin, Dorian Finney-Smith. He's cheaper than Elfrid Payton. He's cheaper than KJ Simpson. So Salon, if he can hit his shots, certainly has a path to paying off. Lakers defense is really not going to be good, I don't think, moving forward. So given the discount you get on him, I think he's one of the better plays on the entire game.
Yeah, you will not be alone in that regard. He is projecting as the second highest owned player of the slate. But I agree. I mean, 2.4K is way too cheap for a guy projected for 21 minutes. He's not been the most productive guy, but he's going to be out there. And if the game blows out, that's not really going to affect him. If you want to gain leverage on that, what do you think you want to do first as far as like a cheap play that can still keep your roster competitive, but you're not eating the Salon chalk as he very possibly craters a lot of lineups?
Not sure. There's really not anyone else I want to play. Like, I don't want to play Elfrid Payton as presumably the third string point guard with LaMelo back. KJ is okay as the backup at 4.8, but he's double the price of Salon. So I think that's just good chalk. Like, the stars are stars that you want to roster. Salon, while bad, is cheap. He's essentially the cheapest guy with a real role. So fading him is really not something I'm going to do aggressively on this slate.
Yeah, I tend to agree here. I think he looks like good chalk. I think if you want to do it, though, if you want to get a little bit different at lower ownership, I think Jared Vanderbilt at 3.4K is one way to do it. He's getting minutes anyways. Has not been very productive, but the minutes are still there. 17 plus minutes in all these games here. Look at this, 3.5 fantasy points against the Jazz. What are you doing, Vandy? But he still looks good. I mean, the Hornets are a good matchup, 15 plus minutes. And if no LeBron, he just looks better. So I would just look at updated ownership before making the call there. But both are viable. Sloan is the safer, better play, but he's also going to be super, super chalky. So I don't mind kind of cutting that in half a little bit and getting a little bit overweight on Vandy. All right, let's wrap it up here with our flag plant of the slate. If you have one for a showdown slate.
I guess it would be Mark Williams and captain. I just think he's too cheap. He's extremely good. He will be motivated to destroy the Lakers. So not going to be contrarian, I'm certain, but Mark Williams and captain, especially if LeBron is out and everyone flocks to Luka or Reeves, I think is an awesome play. Miles Bridges would be my flag plant 1B, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think in general, going after a Hornet is going to be pretty contrarian. Everybody wants the Luka, LeBron, Reeves thing. If LeBron is out, Luka is just the smashiest of smashes. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with just eating the captain chalk and trying to get different in the flex. The only issue with that is that like the best flex options are kind of really owned. So I think it does make sense on this showdown slate to try to get different in the captain and just load up, especially since there's like 4 guys who can get 50 to 60 fantasy points here. So I think I'm definitely with you on Mark and Miles, but I will add Nick Smith Jr. in there too, just because we know if the game stays close, he's going to get 30 to 35 minutes, and he has shown some nice ability as a scorer. Very streaky, not easy to trust, but also not expensive at 6.3K. All right, it's a showdown slate, so obviously we're not going to go too hard on it. And I suggest the same for you. If you're playing tonight, just kind of keep it chill. Let's save it for tomorrow. But you can certainly enter like a single entry or max a small contest just for fun because the NBA is back, so that's nice and everything. But if anything here helps you, give this video a like. And actually, we're doing a giveaway. We're going to give 2 FanDuel passes away for the rest of the month for free if we can get 30 likes on this video. So let's get to that. And let's also hammer that subscribe button. Helps us out quite a bit here on YouTube. And if you haven't already, come join us in Discord so you can share your lineups, talk shop, and get our core plays for all the slates leading into lock. All right. Thanks for watching and good luck.